So, the media have responded to the attack in, and I've forgotten how to say the name again.
Waukesha.
So, the massacre in Waukesha, in which a guy got his car and drove into a parade of just people parading, children, families. You know, it was people at a Christmas parade. Very similar to what we have been dealing with in the European context, let's say, with many a truck or many a car in Britain being used by Islamists. And in this case, it was a guy who supported BLM, and I'm sure the further details will come out as the court case goes ahead. But Andy No, being a journalist, did his job and found out, well, who is this guy, what are his possible motives, and, well, that will help inform the discussion. So as you can see here, this is his coverage, and he says, the suspect accused of ploughing into a Christmas parade at high speed in Waukesha and killing 6 people, all whites, wrote on social media posts promoting violence towards white people. And you can see the Hitler meme, for example, there, because perfectly normal black nationalist.
Wait, he posted that?
Yeah, that was a Hitler meme that I think he reposted in agreement with, and it was a quote from Hitler trying to argue that, like, the blacks are the real Jews of the world or something. It's mad. But all of his posts point to him being some kind of black nationalist BLM type. That's what his social media history shows, and that's what Andy reported on. So if we carry on, we have some of the BLM stuff to make that clear. So you have multiple posts here. First one, of course, being someone posting Black Lives Matter and him reposting it with, like, F the cops. And then if we go to the next image, we have the BLM watermelon, which... Oh boy, let's leave that there. Notice the next one, we have him celebrating the tearing down of the Edward Colston statue by BLM activists in Bristol. And then if we go to the last one here, we have him celebrating the putting up of the BLM protester statue where Edward Colston used to be, that then did get taken down as well.
Yes.
So, solid evidence, this guy is a BLM supporter.
Yes.
Nah, apparently not. No,
Oh.
This is disinformation. This is the right wing at it again with the disinformation campaign. Anyway, so let's carry on. So we have Andy No releasing the affidavit in which we learned that the details, including that 62 were injured, and the driver stopped, then accelerated, and witnesses said he drove in a zigzag pattern to as many people as possible. And if we go to the tragic part of this, of course, which is the people dying, particularly this child is now one of the new people to now be dead. 6th person has died in the Waukesha massacre. 8-year-old Jackson Sparks died in hospital from his injuries, along with the other 50 plus others who were injured. So that's what he did. If we go to the next one, we have his bail, which is $5 million. Not enough. I don't even know why they have cash bails. I don't want some leftist giving him $5 million and getting out. Screw it. Just no bail. Go to hell. Anyway, so we have the leftist journos who responded to Andy reporting on all those facts with Andy No disinformation, Andy No bad. Why? Because he dared to show the social media history of the attacker. That's the crime. That's the bad thing Andy No did. So this is some verified checkmark being salty as hell. If you're seeing some lunacy about the person of interest who was detained in Waukesha, here's a brief window into how the right-wing disinformation machine works. It starts with Andy No, of course. Oh no, what has Andy No done? He said the information about the attacker. That's all he's done. Here's the social media history posts of him supporting BLM, hating white people. Here's his Hitler memes. You know, very black nationalist. There you go. That's Andy No done. He's like, all right, see you tomorrow. You know, done my job as a reporter. And no, that's disinformation. Posting the screenshots of his posts. Anyway, so let's go to the next tweet on this, in which this person is again complaining. And he says in here, on Facebook, the person of interest, suspect, I don't know who uses that terminology, allegedly posted some anti-Semitic dreck, a cartoon about police brutality, and a photo of a mural of George Floyd. The latter two were enough for No to say he posted in support of BLM causes. Nowhere else did he find anything directly linking him to the person of interest and BLM. Liar. I mean, like, we have it. We have the 4 posts there, which were only 4. There were more, as we went through on the last time we did a video on this, of him being in support with BLM movement or being anti-white explicitly. I'm like, okay, those things fit together like pieces of a puzzle.
Yep.
Black nationalist movement. I mean, what do you expect? And yeah, so the idea that this is disinformation. I mean, this guy can go to hell. So there is some other clowns who are mad about this. So this is a literal clown. I'm not kidding. Like, you see his profile picture?
Yeah.
Literal clown face. But okay. And he says, F Andy No, fake ass journalist, couldn't do actual reporting if his life depended on it. That dude is a piece of S.
Okay.
For what?
So you don't like him?
I'm very sorry that you are very upset that the facts do not help your narrative. Because that's what this is.
Yeah.
He's done nothing. All he has done is given the information as presented on the social media history, screenshot it and be like, there you go. That's the political beliefs of this guy by his memes, and that's the message. So we continue. We have Daily Beast then started messaging Andy and asking him questions in an antagonizing way, trying to make out that he was some kind of fake journalist or something for daring to do this. First question here puts it out pretty simply. He says, why did you feel it necessary to claim that Brooks had posted on social media, quote, in support of BLM causes? Did you intend to suggest that he was in any way involved in the movement? No, idiot. That's not what that means.
Yeah.
Read it back to yourself, if you can. I mean, reading is hard, I know, but it's not that hard. In support of BLM does not mean involved in the movement.
Yeah.
Dum-dum. Anyway, he continues with a whole bunch of other statements, questions that are useless. He ends up saying in here, what is it? You've got 1 hour to respond. I'm like, what are you, the mafia? Get stuffed. Like, I'm not talking to you. So if you go back to Andy, Andy just says, yeah, I don't want to talk to you or you bunch of losers because I stand by my reporting because literally all he did was do his job.
It's a very good question Andy asks there as well. Instead of writing about my posts, how about you explore the views Darrell Brooks espoused and the progressive policies that allowed a violent career criminal and child sex offender to allegedly mow down more than 50 people? That's a very good question, Andy. Why don't they do that, I wonder?
Crickets. Just no interest whatsoever. So if we go to the next one here, the Daily Beast then responded with the article that they published from that reporter. And as you can see, they say here, how big-time right-wing trolls like Andy No and Tim Pool tried the Waukesha killings to Black Lives Matter. I don't think Andy No did it. I don't think Tim Pool did it.
No.
I think the dude who did the killings and did the social media post did it. As Andy points out in the next one here, which is just the Waukesha massacre suspect tied himself to BLM through his social media posts. That's how that works. That's logic for you.
But I think... But the thing is, BLM has taken on the aspects of a civil religion at this point, as we mentioned on yesterday's podcast. And it's almost to the extent at which, if it is bad, it cannot be BLM, because BLM is good.
No.
So it must be something else.
It's never like we've done this before.
Yes.
Like in 2016.
Yes.
Where one of our supporters went out and shot a bunch of cops in
Yeah,
Dallas.
or consistently for the last 2 years in riots across America, perhaps. I mean, it's not like we're short of evidence for this claim here.
David Dawn. Nah. Just, we all forgotten about this. Radio, moving on. So we also just have the Daily Beast Hypocrisy, because Defiant Elves is an amazing account that documents these things. As you can see, when it's a narrative which they like, they're happy to do journalism, but when it's not, journalism is bad. And again, in case you're wondering my perspective, journalism good. Like, I want to know what the motives of the person were in any killing, because I'm not a hack. So they say in here for the first one, the 17-year-old shooter's Facebook page showcased photos with Blue Lives Matters pro-police slogans and imagery, as well as an Armalite rifle similar to the one that he appears to have carried into Kenosha.
Yeah, but the thing I like about this is the photos didn't even have Blue Lives Matter on them, as it says here, with Blue Lives Matter style pro-police slogans. So there were other slogans.
I assume they're reporting about Carl Rittenhouse here, so he didn't even do anything wrong, but that's not relevant. The question was, well, does he have a motive? And okay, well, he's kind of pro-police, blah, blah, blah. And I imagine Carl Rittenhouse was, and that's why he had a duty to law and order. Now, he went down to help.
He did?
He cleaned up graffiti like a good boy. He didn't do nothing. And then you have the response to them getting really mad, in which they're like, yeah, right-wing trolls like Andy No are trying to tie it to BLM. Nope. The guy who did the killing is the one who tied it to BLM.
Yeah.
His fault. So we also have some other stuff. So we have Media Matters as well, who got in on this and tried to cover up for the killer because they felt personally attacked or something. So Andy No saying here, associates of Media Matters, a political operative group for Democrats, are concerned the violent history of the Waukesha massacre suspect will be used to harm bail reform. Many leftists believe one way to get closer to equity is to release criminals and undermine the justice system. So this is because the dude was out on bail for $1,000 or whatever it was, and therefore was able to go and carry out the attack because it was only $1,000, even though he was on serious charges.
Yeah, but locking up criminals is racist, Callum, don't you understand?
It's no logic.
I know.
But again, it's just, did you know that the facts of the case might look bad for leftist policy? Yes, they usually do. This has not changed since time immemorial, but okay. And as you can see, it's a bunch of Media Matters people being very upset that the right and Fox News are going to use this to attack bail reform. Like, yes, because in this case, it's a case of it obviously failing and needs to be strengthened, which is why he ended up with a $5 million bail, but they're not so concerned about that one all of a sudden. Anyway, so if we move on, we also have the response which caused most outrage, rightfully. We have NBC News responding and saying that it was an accident. The Waukesha parade accident. He was just sipping his coffee or something and just slipped. Yeah. Anyway, so let's go to the next one, in which they also had on MSNBC on air the people also calling it an accident. So this wasn't a mistake. This wasn't some guy who wrote the description wrong or something. And let's play the clip.
One thing I do worry about, actually two things, Stephanie, is one is the idea of contagion. Whether it has anything to do with this accident last night and the killing of these people.
Accident last night. Just an accident. I mean, you remember the first thing that happened when this happened is the immediate release of the footage from people on the ground with their phones, and it blew up immediately, as these viral things do. Everyone saw the footage. There is no way they had some mistake in which they're not sure what happened on the ground yet. No, the first thing everyone saw was the footage of this guy ramming into people on purpose. It was evident. So I don't believe any bull that they can argue.
And it's not like journalists are in a profession where they don't understand the words they're using, is it? Like,
No.
these people are supposed to be literate. It's not like they slip up on this.
Well, not just that. They are incredibly particular about the kinds of words
very
they use.
pedantic as well. And they will pick on anything you say if the words are slightly...
You know, it was the storming of the Capitol. It was the new 9/11, 9/11 2.0.
Yeah.
Say anything else? Nah, can't be said.
Right.
Even if it reflects reality. But okay. So then we also have some footage here of the suspect who went to some guy's house after killing people and tried to get an Uber from the guy in the house. What's weird is the guy in the house, of course, didn't know who the hell he was. He was like, yeah, okay, here's your phone, call an Uber. Do you want like a sandwich? And he gave him a sandwich. American common courtesy. I mean, it's Thanksgiving, you know.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know. And then he heard all the sirens and was like, hey, can you wait outside for 5 minutes? And then we locked the door, and then the police turned up. So it was great timing, and they got the guy. So,
Wow.
you know, at least he didn't kill that guy as well, I guess.
Jesus.
Yeah. So anyway, let's continue. So the part in here as well is interesting, as CNN also said 6 people were killed and another 62 injured in the ensuing crash. This is the other phrasing that has been used by a lot of people, that it is just a crash, like a car crash, car accident, basically. So if we carry on, there's some memes about this. So of course, there's Babylon B reporting. CNN reports on the deadly boat accident at Pearl Harbor. Tragic, random boat accident at Pearl Harbor. Yeah, love the Babylon B. But back to the real news, which is the same. So let's get back to Newsweek, who also said it was a parade crash. No, the massacre, but okay. And we have the next one, which is AP, who also decided to go with the words parade crash. Just the media group think there. No one thinking to actually correct the mistake. Instead, no, I'll just copy and paste it. And even Fox News did this as well. So they're not without sin as well. And as you can see, Elijah Schaefer pointing out the caption on this one. So if you scroll down, you can see in the caption on the Chiron, they refer to it as a parade crash as well, which, no, wrong thing to do. Don't do that. Also, Wikipedia. Wikipedia went with something a bit weirder. So you can see Waukesha Christmas parade car crash, as if it crashed into another car or something. This has now been corrected, so, I mean, finally, I guess Wikipedia are literally better than CNN at this. They've corrected it to parade attack, because it is an attack. And we've had these throughout Europe, especially the German market, or in Nice, or Westminster Bridge, or so on and so on and so on. Because
Well, the good thing about Wikipedia, at least, is that the entire article edit history is public, so you can see exactly who is making the edits, or which accounts. Of course, you don't know who they are, and you shouldn't, but you can identify activist accounts quite quickly doing that.
There's also the other media responses from the corporate press. So we also had Rachel Maddow, who decided to respond to this. And as Fox News reported, MSNBC's Rachel Maddow failed to mention the career criminal Darrell Brooks during Waukesha parade attack segment. So the criminal record of the guy. Just didn't mention it. It's not relevant to the whole thing. It's not even important. Who even knows? Criminal? Nah. BLM hero. That's what I hear. Honestly, I mean, by tomorrow, I reckon they are going to pick this guy as some kind of hero of BLM. I've already seen some more, let's say, radical accounts. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Dem accounts claiming this is karma or something. So they say in here she failed to inform viewers about the suspect or his length of criminal history dating back to 1997 that includes numerous violent felonies. She never mentioned Brooks by name, only referring to him as the suspect. And MSNBC didn't put his mugshot on screen during the segment either. I wonder why. Anyway, so if Russia lady won't tell you what his criminal history is, I thought we'd go through it, so we can.
Okay.
So if we go to the next one here, we have some details of his criminal history. There's some bullet points, I think, near the bottom, John, if you want to try and find it. But they say in here, in 1999, he was found guilty on substantial battery intended bodily harm, a felony. In 2003, he pleaded guilty to a charge of misdemeanor, resisting arrest. 2005, he got a brief prison prison time for obstructing an officer, also a misdemeanor. Also in 2005, Brooks also became a convicted sex offender. He got a 15-year-old girl pregnant.
So, hang on. According to this, we have someone who is a violent paedophile.
Yeah, we're not even done.
Oh, no.
No. 2010, he was found guilty of strangulation and suffocation felony charges in Wood County. Totally normal. I mean, you would have thought he'd be for life already in prison, but whatever. And in 2011, Brooks was found guilty of resisting obstructing an officer charge. And then in 2021, which is just before he went out and carried out this attack, Brooks was charged with resisting or obstructing an officer, bail jumping, recklessly endangering safety, disorderly conduct, and battery on November 5th. What did he do? Brooks hit a woman who was the mother of his child, so the 15-year-old girl, a little bit more grown up now, being beaten up by
So
this guy
he's a
still.
domestic abuser as well, by the sound of it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't even know what kind of relationship that is. I mean, criminal one. So he hit the mother of his child with his fist and then ran her over with his car. And the way they were able to prove this, as the report notes, the woman had tire markings on her pants in addition to other injuries from the incident.
I mean, I don't even know where to start. It seems to me that whenever the media tries to carry water for someone, they end up being a violent domestic abuser or a paedophile, or in this case, both.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable.
Whereas the right picks someone that they think has done nothing wrong, like Kyle Rittenhouse, and some boy who was cleaning up graffiti.
Basically a Boy Scout, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the best Boy Scout, honestly. I mean, who wouldn't want him in the troop? But, yeah. I mean, it's not small. It's not irrelevant, because, of course, it relates, of course, with the using of the car there as well. And also the fact that this guy should have been in prison long ago for all time, by the looks of it. It's completely unstable or completely proper for him to be in public. So we also have some other responses, as Andy has noted. So we have leftist ideologues saying that the Waukesha parade massacre suspect shouldn't have been kept in jail, despite his long criminal record, because the better solution would be to limit access to vehicles. We need common sense car reform. So this is the check mark here. What if instead of asking whether a tiny bit more jail would have fixed this person, we ask whether fewer cars, SUVs in America, would lead to fewer people being killed?
Then we would all be morons, I think, is the answer to that question.
I mean, this was a meme we had in the UK and Europe in response to the Islamist truck attacks and car attacks. It was like,
I remember, yeah.
Could you imagine if we were America, we were talking about common sense car reform? You know, we don't have any guns, and yet it's still happening.
Yeah.
And then the Americans are getting this, and they're like, yeah, we car reform now, less SUVs. What a moron. I mean, the state of these people as well. So let's move on. So we also have the Illinois Democrats who decided that they side desperately with the attacker. Totally normal behavior by the main party that is currently running the country to be like, yes, terrorists.
It's funny how they're always on the side of the criminals, isn't it? The violent, murderous criminals.
You couldn't get a more clear-cut case of a bad guy. I mean, this is not George Floyd, where it's like, okay, bad guy, but where did he die of the overdose? Did he die of the nail in the neck? There's a debate, blah, blah, blah. That's what the court case was. No, we go with the guy who's on footage mowing down children with his car, and in the past has been beating up his wife, who he also nonced. Nah, that's our guy. We'll side with him. So, Illinois Democrat calls Waukesha tragedy karma for Rittenhouse acquittal. So she said in here,
wow.
I just believe in karma, and this came around quick on the citizens of Wisconsin. So because Kyle Rittenhouse did nothing wrong provably in court, they deserve to be mowed down, and their children deserve to be mowed down.
Vote Democrats, guys. What can I say?
Yeah, vote blue no matter who. I mean, literal the devil over here with the blue rosette, but okay, whatever. She also said in here it was probably just self-defense, mocking the situation as being equivalent to Rittenhouse. And it's just like, you're an awful person. I'm sorry, but just what the hell is wrong with you? Yeah, you can see her there saying it's probably just self-defense. It's just scum. So at least the bare minimum has been done, which is this individual has been fired from her position. As you can see, the Post-Millennial reporting, she loses her job. She'll be back in 2 months, probably, let's be honest, because these people...
They always recycle their people, don't they?
Demonic, but whatever. Yeah, there's not the only one either. So if we go to the next one, we have the Dem communications head, who responded to someone asking about why did he drive 30 minutes to do this? It was 30 minutes.
Did he cross state lines, by the way?
I don't know if he crossed state lines, but if he did, he's definitely guilty. And if he didn't, definitely not guilty. But if we scroll down on this one, there's in the image in there, you got the comms director for, I think it was like the Democrats, what is it, Cheshire or whatever group. Yeah, Chesterfield Dems, who says in here, he was worried about the business in Waukesha and wanted to defend it from Christmas rioters. What's wrong with you? No, Jesus Christ! Like again, I mean, like not a nobody, like someone who's in the local area as a Democratic activist to the point of being in charge of comms. Right. That's the state of them. But we also have the national activists as well, of course. We have Occupy Democrats who decided to open their mouth. And they tried to distract from the massacre by trying to claim that another massacre had taken place. But this time, by the right. The right have done it.
No!
Therefore, truck attacks, just part of life, part and parcel, as Steve Khan would say. Occupy Democrats, a Trumper, emboldened by the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict, plows into a crowd of peaceful protesters marching against Rittenhouse's acquittal in Connecticut, injuring 6, including a 6-year-old woman who is now fighting for her life. He got away. Retweet to help the police find him. Didn't happen.
They just made this up.
Yeah.
Completely.
What's funny is
out of thin air.
No, there is footage of what they're referring to, and it's so obvious BS they're framing. So if we just go to the next one, we actually have the footage, of course, because anyone could just find it. And I don't know if you can go to the middle on this. We don't need to play the audio if you can, but it's just the fact that like the car turns up.
All eyes can match.
So you can see them chanting, and there's the car. Comes to a complete stop, and then it's just like slowly get out of my way.
On. Like the important thing is there's a group of Black Lives Matter protesters by the looks of it blocking the road here.
Yeah, a public street. It's being used. And this person very slowly basically just pushed them out of the way with the car.
And they've got the flag with the black fist on it, which is usually associated with BLM.
But you know, this Trumper here, he plowed into them. I don't know where the 60-year-old woman is either.
No, they all look like young men and women, to be honest. In fact, they look like school children.
I mean, it might be complete fake news, and nicely enough, actually, Occupy Democrats did end up admitting, we're fake news. Literal fake news. Correction, last night we tweeted out initial reports regarding a possible car attack in Connecticut that turned out to be false. The motive, political alignment of the driver remains unknown. They just made it up.
That's the mistake, is it?
They just made up the part about him being a Trumper.
They made up the whole thing.
None of the victims were hospitalized. There was no 60-year-old woman. She was not taken to hospital. We sincerely apologize for the mistake. There were no 6 people
you
injured.
sincerely apologise for getting caught.
Yes, that's what they're upset about, quite frankly. At least they didn't do something which they usually do, which is retweet if you support evil at the end of that. So, progress of a kind. But also there's the situation going on here, which is that the White House has been weirdly silent about all this. Of course, the real president of the United States, while Joe Biden still gets his bowels searched or whatever the hell else he's doing today. Kamala Harris meets with family of Jacob Blake in Wisconsin. Blake joins by phone. This was back when, of course, Jacob Blake was shot for reaching into his car after being told to stop by the police. If he was white, no one would care. But because he was black, of course, this is a BLM martyr. Nothing will, no justice, no peace, which then led to Kyle Rittenhouse and then led to this black guy going out.
So it's just an endless chain of violent events happening on the watch of the Democrats, who seem to have their hands deeply involved in it.
Yeah, but I just find it amazing. Every single step of the way, the media is in the wrong.
Yeah.
The Dems are in the wrong. To the highest levels as well. I mean, like the Jacob Blake case, it's open and shut. Look at the footage yourself.
They're both in the wrong, they're both on the same side, and they're both causing damage.
Yeah. Guy is at car, has knife, police point gun at man and say, drop knife. Man ignores instruction and then reaches into his car. Police are going to shoot. What do you think they're going to do? So, Dems in the wrong, media in the wrong, rightists in the right, because of course law and order here. And then you get Kyle Rittenhouse who's defending himself, again, completely like clear streak for who's right and who's wrong. And then yet again with this car attack, the hell's the matter with them? I mean, to the point of saying that this is karma.
Yeah.
Scum. If you enjoyed that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com and sign up to get access to all the premium content we have on the site.
Yeah, we've got absolutely loads of this. We've been doing this for over a year now, so we've got a massive library of content that we're really, really proud of. We've got loads of premium articles, which we have written by our in-house writers and external writers, such as this one by Hugo, which is talking about the great narrative of the World Economic Forum and how it's falling apart. The cracks are becoming visible. And we also have, for Silver Tier members and above, an audio track read by Jonathan Crow, who's a very, very good speaker, and this makes it easier for you. We also have our regular series, such as Contemplations, like this one, where I debate Josh about whether free will is an illusion or not. I am very firmly on the free will exists side of things, and Josh is wrong, but you can find out why if you go and sign up. We also have the epochs that Bo and I do, which is fantastic. At the moment, we're halfway through, well, 2/3 of the way through the series on Belisarius. Do you know who Belisarius is, Callum?
Got to reconquered Rome.
Yes, he did. He did. And
lost it.
It's honestly a genuine tragedy, and it's a really sad tale. And we're just at the apex of his conquests at the moment, but next week we'll get to enjoy the tragedy of it. It's really sad. But we also do loads of other stuff, like interviews that we did, one recently with Philip Tanzer, who's a men's rights activist and conservative activist. And in this second one, we end up talking about the sort of metaphysics of masculinity. What is it you're trying to uphold by being a man? And I think it's important. Lots there to learn. And he's a very interesting thinker anyway. We also have the book club, which is fantastic. We're about to record another one now, but this last one we did was Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince. So if you want to get the most out of these books, you can join us there, because we've done a lot of work studying these. And we also do premium podcasts covering sensitive subjects, such as what happened to the January the 6th rioters. And we do slightly more academic ones, such as this next one about the origins of intersectionality. Where does the term come from? What's the point of it? Well, I went and read everything that Kimberly Crenshaw wrote about it, and, well, it's not good news, frankly.
In addition, you can also follow us on any of the social medias, such as getter.com, so you can follow us there at lotuseaters_com, and also you'll be speaking at the Counter Conference conference.
Yes. Yeah, the Counter Conference at the London O2 on December the 8th.
Yes.
I'm going to be speaking on a panel with Jason Miller, Lawrence Fox, and a few others. It's going to be fantastic, so come down and see us there.
Anyway, if you'd like to get access to all that premium content or follow everything we do, please sign up at lotuseaters.com. Thank you and goodbye.